We're back with Blunder Packs, and we're almost to 1500 elo, so it's starting to get a little bit more tricky. Let's find an opponent. We find Alex, who's 1470, and we're going to go e4. And my opponent's just playing the Owens defense. Let's go ahead and put two pawns in the center. If you can do this, it's usually probably the best way to play. So the bishop is attacking this pawn. We can develop these two ways to protect it. I'm going to develop my bishop because I want to maybe play like C something. Okay, they're adding an attacker, and if I were to play here, we would lose our rook, so we can't do that. So I could develop here and then maybe push the pawn, but let's just develop our knight to the natural square. And now they're pushing this pawn, they want to open up the bishop. So what's this move do? Well, they might be looking to strike in the center, but also they might be looking to remove a defender of this pawn. So we could play knight here and then plant a castle. That's what I'm going to do. And if they strike in the center, we can push through. Okay, the bishop comes out. If they take, we just take back. There is no issue. Let's castle. And there's still defense. And now they're castling themselves. But now that this is protected, we can actually push, opening up an attack. And we might get some good play here. So let's go ahead and kick the knight around. Knight's probably going to go here. And then we can bring our queen in. And if they push the pawn, we can probably slide back and then maybe get this in here. But this looks like a start of the attack, and they're not going to want to take. We could also plan to push f4 and try to rook lift, but maybe we even go here with the idea of bishop here. That could be better, trying to play for queen h4, I guess is not possible. So queen g4, queen h5 are my two options that I'm looking at. There's definitely no sacrifice here. Here they immediately go here. And then what are we playing? Queen all the way back? Or maybe then we go here with the threat of bishop g7 or bishop g5. Okay, let's go all the way in. So there's a mate threat. My opponent must see that. Of course, it looks like it's hitting both pieces, but mate in one. So the natural move here is g6. And then the plan is to play queen g4. If they take, we take back. And now, yeah, okay, so they go g6. So queen g4. If they don't take the knight, my plan is to take, they take, and then I'm going to play bishop to g5, attacking the queen with the idea of playing bishop f6 and just really restricting the king. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's play back with the queen, get out of the attack. I don't think they should trade. If we went here, I mean, we are pinning, but I don't think there's any need for that. Okay, they are trying to strike in the center. I think we should probably go here first, and if they push, or do we take actually? Maybe we take first. Bishop takes, and then we go here so that on push, we can take. Yeah, let's get rid of the knight. And now let's bring in our bishop. So we're attacking the queen. The queen must move, and then we can cement in here. And if they take, we can just take back. And this does not look very good for the white or for the black pieces. And of course, if we see f6, we just take it. Yeah, so queen here, I don't think this is right. So for one, we can trap the rook. But I think better yet is just to go here. And we should be mating with like queen h4. Yeah, let's just play bishop f6. And this should be checkmate in like 3 moves. I guess 4 because... yeah, even this move doesn't do anything because I can go here. If takes, pawn takes. Wait, so here, knight takes, pawn takes. I guess then the queen can go here. Okay, maybe we should have took the rook. Okay, well, let's still go here. Let's continue with our plan. The king is still restricted, so they have to play this. And then I think we can play like g4, g5. Yeah, they don't find the right move. They needed to attack this. Because now we bring the queen in, and this is simply just checkmate. Does not matter if you can move the rook. Good game. Okay, we played with an 87. My opponent played with a 62. So, I mean, if you're going to play like this, you really need to be prepared. We got a decent position right out of the opening. Coming in with the bishop and trading it off was definitely wrong, because you're just giving up the bishop for no reason. Now, if I didn't move the knight here, then taking, of course, would secure an extra pawn after knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. But since I can recapture using the knight, we still continue to protect, and yeah, you don't need to give up the bishop that early. And then castling. Now, if you look at this position from this point, I mean, castling is an intuitive move. I mean, you look at this, you either say, okay, let's finish development or castle, right? But the problem with castling is I have a bishop, and a queen, and a pawn ready to kick your only defender. So, yeah, I mean, I guess bishop g5 was better, but yeah, bishop g5 just threatens to go e6, so I would assume that after here we'd see like h6, and then we slide back, and if they were to push, I mean, then their king's just getting super exposed, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Queen coming in was wrong to start. Oh, because, okay, yeah, I mean, because they have this move. And they block out my bishop. And if we take en passant, they take with the knight, protecting and attacking. Okay, so I missed that. Now, what we should do instead is actually take the knight first, and then after takes, then we can come in with our queen. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So we left the knight there for too long. And then, whoa, it wanted actually this. Which, I mean, it makes sense. Going here does make sense, because if they take, you can take the bishop. And then after knight moves, we can capture the pawn. Or the knight, so that makes sense. And then we take the knight, we realize that we should do that, and then we kick the queen off the defense, and going here is the best move. This is also the best move. Takes, and yeah, they had to play here. In which case, we can just then activate our rook and try to go after this. I was also looking at g4, which apparently is a mistake, but is still winning. It's a mistake because of c5. So what if I go here? King h8, and they're in time to stop the mate. So that makes sense. Okay. But rather, yeah, you see the eval go to... Yeah, Stockfish, it's not a draw. It's not a draw. This is mate in one. And there's no way to stop it. All right, let's go ahead and play another one. We have the black pieces. And we see e4. We're going to play the Caro-Kann, of course. And we have f4 early. We're still going to play d5. Basically, in the Caro-Kann, no matter what they do, we're going c6, d5. Like, it's pretty automatic. Now, this is a different variation than the usual. So usually they don't play f4. Usually they go d4. And after d5, we have to look at, them taking, them pushing, them not doing anything. They can just develop the knights. But in this opening, after f4, they push through, and it's a different variation of the advance. But since this pawn is on f4, it allows the knight to actually go to h6 pretty safely, because after the pawn pushes, there's no threat of damaging the pawn structure. So the move here is actually h6. Knight h6 with the idea of going bishop to g4 with quick development and tempo. And a lot of the times the knight likes to go here to put pressure on this pawn that's eventually going to go to d4. And the way that you learn these kinds of ideas is by just playing the opening and getting familiar with, the ideas and watching stronger players play the openings. I learned this from Alex Benzea. Okay, so we see bishop here. I think we can just now play e6, or we could even play for c5, trying to prevent anything with this move. But I think let's keep it simple. Yeah, and now the castle, very reasonable. If they ever go here, we might just be able to play like, maybe I go here first so that on this I can play h5. That's definitely an idea. I'm going to go here. And my point of h5 is to open up the rook. Okay, they're pushing the pawn. Now we're going to go ahead and play c5. In the Caro-Kann, whenever we see d4, very thematic move is usually c5. Now let's just develop our knight. Okay, they're pinning us. So they're threatening to take. I think I can take now. But maybe we just take here. If pawn takes, then whatever. Of course they can do this, and then we'll take back. So I could take, and the rook is kind of forced to take. But I think we're going to actually just develop our queen now. And if they take, we'll take with the pawn. And we're attacking this. So we have threats. They cannot develop here. And we're threatening to take and win the pawn. But more than that, okay, they get out of the attack. So just taking is very, very logical. However, there is something that we need to consider. So if I take, rook takes, knight takes, is this bishop pin going to be deadly? We could either push the pawn or develop the bishop in that case. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Whenever you win a pawn in the center, in the Caro-Kann, it's usually quite strong. So we're going to go ahead and capitalize while we have the chance. Rook takes. And of course I can take with the queen as well. That is very logical. Just saying, hey, we won a pawn. If you want to trade, we'll take back. And even that comes with the tempo of threatening the rook. So I am going to offer a queen trade. We've won a pawn. We're going to offer a queen trade. And then we're going to threaten to trap the rook, while also tempoing the rook. So after knight takes, rook here could be a move. There's also that move. Okay. That is a move that makes sense. And I guess I'll just slide all the way back. And we're just up a pawn now. We're happy. They develop their knight. We don't really want them to get a knight to this square. So if I push knight here, queen can go here. And then if rook here, we can push. So I'm going to go ahead and push the pawn. It does allow this check, which is not good. Yeah. But okay. Let's just step over the king. The knight comes into the party. Maybe looking to go here. I don't really think it's too much to be concerned about. They're also attacking the pawn. Definitely more counterplay than is needed. But I think just a simple like c4 is fine here. Just attacking the rook. Yes. Of course they can take. I could go here. That is actually a move. It's actually kind of a nasty move. If they take with the pawn, then it opens this up. Yeah, let's go knight to d6. And if they take with the knight, we are able to take here. Actually, I think we have to capture that back. If I take, they can take with the discovered attack. So let's actually just take back. And I guess we don't have our extra pawn anymore, which is just unfortunate. Okay, they forgot about their queen hanging. And yeah, so that was kind of the entire idea. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this. This rook is hanging and this rook is hanging now. We definitely made some mistakes there. Definitely made mistakes. And I mean, I'm only 1900 rated, so, you know, we can make mistakes against these lower rated players as well. We're not perfect. Okay. Can I just take, and then take? The answer is definitely yes. So let's go ahead and sacrifice the queen for the 2 rooks. And they're going there, but I can probably just push the pawn. If they were to take, I can promote. So let's sacrifice the rook now. We're threatening mate in 1 and just promotion. Okay, they move, but now we can just step up. And they take, but this is mate. GG. Yeah, so we did blunder there, which is why our name is Blunderpex, you know. We are good at chess, but we do have a tendency to blunder. However, people at this level also do, and maybe this won't be the most instructive game, but it goes to show that you should never give up, because my opponent was completely winning here after allowing this check. It was really bad. They have an advantage even before that, apparently, but let's run through the entire game. So we have this set up, and we already are better out of the opening. We get the knight here, strike there, and then they pin us. We take, bring the queen out, takes, and we just simply win a pawn. Now we should have infiltrated, apparently. But we go back, and yeah, as soon as we push the pawn, it's not good. We don't need to push the pawn. We should probably just develop. Yeah, and if they try to tempo us, we can literally just play anything to move the queen. We can go queen b5. I would imagine queen c7 is also good, but we're just trying to get our king safe. By pushing the pawn, we allowed this check, and then, yeah. We're supposed to go here, but blocking the bishop feels wrong, so I didn't do that. And then now they're worse again. If they play this, which I did see this, but I thought we could just move. I guess the point is, yeah, this is just bad. We probably would have lost this game if they found that, which is okay. Instead, they go here, and then we push the pawn, which is just a blunder, and then this, they can sacrifice, but then they have to go check. No, there's not check, sorry. They have to move, and then I would have to move this out of the way. And they're still slightly better. Apparently the best move is queen b4, going here, attack, offering a trade. And then they should play like just queen back. Instead, my opponent got tunnel visioned, and yeah, forgot that their queen was under attack, and this might happen in your games as well. And then we had this nice simplification here. We just checkmate. Not a very clean game by myself, but yeah, we snuck through. Okay, we have the white pieces. We're going to go ahead and play d4 this game. And we have d4, d5. Let's go ahead and play knight c3. This is the Jobava London. Now we're going to bring out our bishop. And they bring out their bishop now. So when we see this move, we go f3. And we're going to get a pawn storm going. So usually in the London, they want to leave the bishop at home, especially against this opening. Otherwise, we get to expand on the queen side. On the king side, my fault. Yeah, we get to quickly expand and take space like this. Now, they either have to play h6 or h5. So they decide to go here. Now, we have a choice. Do we push? Do we take? Do we not do anything? This is where I'm unfamiliar with the rest of the opening. Because I'm not actually like a Jobava player. So, I think intuitively I'm saying G5 here is probably pretty good. We could also protect the pawn if we wanted. Like we could go bishop to H3. This doesn't look very good to me though. So I'm going to just push through. And we just have a lot of space, and then maybe we're going to play like F4, F5 in the future. Knight goes back. So we've pushed them back quite a bit. We can already strike in the center if we want to. With E4, and if pawn takes, we could take with the pawn. Or we could take with the knight. It's just opening up all my pieces. I'm going to go E4. Strike in the center. We control a lot of space on the king side. And we're going to get a quick castle as well. And maybe the queen's going to go here to try and open up the king that's in the center and kind of fire from from castling. If you want to castle this way even. Okay, the knight goes here. Interesting. So I think we just play like, I don't know, some queen here. Let's just develop and try to castle. Of course, if they take in the center, we're just perfectly fine. If they jump in, we can take. And let's not forget that, you know, they have a hard time developing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna auto take this. And the point is, after pawn takes, look at our equity in the center of the board. The pawn is here. Is it doing anything? I mean, not really anything major. I can already try to shred open the position. But first, let's castle. Okay, they want a bishop trade. Am I afraid of this? Not really. What am I going to do? I'm going to develop my piece defending. It's already defended, but let's defend it again. While also just finishing our development. And I don't think they want to castle this way. But they might. And my next move is probably... Okay, they take... But I'm going to take with the knight, not the bishop. Maybe bishop or maybe queen was better. Immediately threatening to push. But... Okay, bishop back. I can maybe sacrifice a pawn here. Push if this takes and their pawn structure is just screwed up. Push if pawn takes, we can take this, hitting the queen. Also just shredding open their king side. Here, if this, we can just take. Here, no, they can't. Bishops don't go this way, dummy. Let's push the pawn. Yeah, they take like that. Now let's go ahead and capture. We're attacking the queen. And threatening check. And a fork. But, you know, most of all, like, look at our center. This bishop is now really bad. I mean, they can go here, of course, but they're going to move, and I'll probably just play, like, d5. Yeah, so they go there. Ooh, I have a very nice move. I'm going to play it really quickly because, oh no, my knight. Oh no, my knight. I'm attacking their queen. We had hit this twice. And most of all, if they take, we take here forking the king and queen. Yeah, so they have to protect, but this doesn't really protect anything because I can still take. And I'm taking with this knight because this one is protected. So we have secured this for sure, no matter what. But if they move the king, I don't know, onto... I guess they can only go here or here. Okay, my opponent just resigns. They should have played on. It's losing, but they should definitely play on, especially at this level. So we played this with a 91. My opponent played with a 74. And we got a Jobava London. This is all book. This is theory. Pushing through is the best move. So here's where I'm kind of out of book. They go back and we strike in the center. This is not memorized. This is just based on, you know, what we should play for and how, you know, we should play the opening. So when you look at this position, what do you want to do in the opening? You want to control the center, develop your pieces, and then castle. So e4 is actually a multi-purpose move. We're striking in the center, so we're trying to control more squares in the center while also opening up our bishop and also, you know, maybe making some more squares for our queen to go to be able to castle. Now we go e4 and we could have took, but we want to castle. And then they jump in, but this is just bad. It's bad for a couple of reasons because it's just a one move threat. They move the knight how many times? Here, 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 4 times. And all I have to do is take it with one move, right? And then on top of that, after pawn takes, our center is very, very solid. If they ever play moves like that, we can maybe push. But yeah, this was just a bad move. They need to develop. So takes, and then we castle. Our king's safe. They offer us a trade. We could take, of course, but why not just finish development? And then they take, knight takes, comes with a threat, and here, I mean, I thought this was a pretty nice move. Obviously, if takes, we just go like this, and their pawn structure is very, very bad, which was my whole idea behind it. And then maybe we just like go here and attack the weakness. Regardless, they took this way, allowing the knight to come in, and we find the brilliant knight d5. And the point is, after queen takes, we have a royal fork on c7. So that's why, yeah. Okay, I could have took this way, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Both ways are winning. They're going to move the king. Apparently, they can go king d8, and I would just take. And then we're going to be able to come back. Knight a6 is the move here to stop this, I guess. But regardless, yeah, we got the win. And I think we're going to try to get 1500. Okay, we found Mr. Test here. Let's play e4. And we have a Scandinavian. Let's capture the pawn. They take back pretty quickly. Now we're going to develop with tempo on the queen. And my opponent's playing queen a5. I think this is the first time in the speedrun that we've actually seen the queen go to a5. A lot of people have been giving checks or going back. So maybe this guy knows some theory. However, we're going to test that theory with the move b4, gambiting a pawn. And now we're going to play rook to b1, attacking the queen. Okay, my opponent is prepped. They know exactly what they're doing here. Let's bring out our bishop. They're playing all the top computer moves, so they have obviously had this position before, but this is a mistake. Takes, I guess queen takes. Okay, I've never seen this move before. Never ever have I. So, I mean, I could go here first, attacking the queen. But then they can maybe go check. What do I want to do? Because the whole point of this, the bishop staying at home is to stop this from being able to be taken. Knight jumps are usually pretty good in this opening. Takes, queen takes with check. I guess I just block with development. I guess that's what we argue. We just take the bishop and then play like knight to e2. And yeah, they protect their pawn, of course, but I think we've done pretty well. We're going to go ahead and push our pawn, take some control of the center. And now, you know, we might have ideas of jumping in here. So they're trying to fianchetto. That's what they're trying to do. I think I can jump in if knight here, we develop the bishop, attacking here again. So let's go for that. Of course, my opponent has to see the threat, which is to fork the king and queen. And then we'll probably just castle. Okay, knight there. Let's develop with tempo. Just threatening, threatening, threatening. And then maybe we can even go here, which would force this. Wow. What a move. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I did not see that move. But what about just castle, or takes the pawn? And then here we just drop back. Surely we can just take the pawn. We take the pawn with check. And we should be okay. They're not really threatening to take because we can just go here. Now we'll drop back. And of course, if bishop here, we always have c3. They take. I don't know about that because rook here seems really nice. I think we're just winning the knight. Okay. Let's go here. We attack this. Of course, they can attack our knight. But now maybe we take. Okay, it's not so simple. It's never so simple, right? I mean, surely we take. They take. Queen here attacks the rook and threatens. Check, king here, check, king out. Yeah, surely we can take and then just play like rook a or queen a1. So they can take, but now we go here. The rook is under attack. They can sacrifice, but that shouldn't be good enough. And the threat is just to go check, king here. And then check. I guess the king can go back, but then we can take here with check. Oh, the rook's not under attack. There's a pawn here, you dummy. But, I mean, this still looks good. We can castle. We can't castle. Queen's there attacking this. Okay, my position's not as good as I'm thinking. Not at all. But rook a8, rook a7 is a threat. So they do have to address that. And knight here could be potential threats. This pawn is also pinned, so we might have stuff like this. If the queen moves. Like, okay, they move up. Okay, but surely check, king here. Check, king here. Check. So if I castle, queen takes, and then we go check. King goes here. This would actually be checkmate. So I think I can castle, sacrificing the knight. Oh no, my knight. Oh no. Ah, dang it. Ah, I blundered. Okay, yeah, they aren't falling for my trick. Okay, but now can I go here? And if takes, there's the same thing. Yeah, we can just attack the queen. Let's attack the queen. Because the queen always has to protect this pawn. So you have to go here. Okay, they take. They take the free pawn, but it was a trick. We go check, king here, and we have checkmate. Utilizing the pin, and my opponent resigns. Now we played with an 85, my opponent played with a 60. Obviously this opening is not the best, you know, sacrificing a pawn. It's a gambit. Before, my opponent knew the best moves here, and I did not think this was correct, but I didn't know what to do. Apparently you go here, and then queen d4, and it just looks like they're attacking both pieces. but we play bishop d3. But they're making my pieces a little bit awkward. This is not really what I want. So it's, yeah, interesting. Rather we took and then just developed and they saved their pawn and they have a better position. But we should push the pawn. And then castling gave us a free pawn. And we go back and they take a pawn, but that allowed rook a1, followed by takes, and queen to a1. Now, I was a little bit blind here. I thought it was attacking the rook, but no. And then this is just a mistake because we can castle. This is brilliant because they can take, but then there's this same checkmate that we saw happen on the board. So yeah, we have this and we sacked the pawn to deflect. This is called a deflection tactic. We deflect the queen away from this protection of the pawn. Now, I think they had to play here, but yeah, we can start pushing pawns through. Of course, they do this. We take the queen. And if they don't do anything, we have check. Queen takes b6. We have to take here. So maybe not so simple. But yeah, very nice find. Rook, this should be brilliant. It's not actually because, you know, we're using the pin, but GG. All right, we have the white pieces. Let's go e4. And we have e4, e5. We're going to develop our knight. This is the Vienna game, and we're going to play the Vienna Gambit. So f4. Now, we're offering another pawn. As you can tell, I really like gambits in certain openings. They choose to decline the gambit. So this is similar to like a king's gambit. The way that I like to play this is first I'll just develop my knight. They develop their knight, and I like to play this little bit of a tricky-ish move, which is bishop here. Now, if they go here, we kind of just have to say, okay, fine, and just go back. We don't have to, but that's how I like to play it. And the point of this move is, you know, we're really noticing stuff. Okay, they're pushing their pawn. Pushing their pawn. So they want a fianchetto. If I take, they take with the knight, and there's nothing. So we don't need to do that. I think we can just castle here. And, you know, if they ever take, we take the full center. This is the other idea. And on the next move, I might take. And if knight takes, we might just drop back. Yeah. So I'm going to take. Knight takes bishop b3. They take with the pawn. I don't think this is the best way of playing. I'm wondering if I can already go here. But then we'll just see castles. So let's just play a simple d3. They pin us. Okay. They pin us. So now we're being very, very cautious. There might be potential tactics here. But it would only work if we can take this pawn. So I could go... No, I can't pin. Let's go ahead and pin the knight to the queen. Let's utilize this g6 move. What g6 does is it disables any like protection of the knight. So now this is pinned. We can put more pressure on that knight. We can put P or PP on the PP is what they say. So I could go knight here. If they play this, we can first take with check. Bishop takes. Maybe it's not so simple. Maybe I ask the question, because if they take, then I take with the queen, putting more pressure immediately. But then knight here. What is the best way to play here? Let's ask the question. Let's say, what are you doing, bishop? Of course, if here we could take with the rook, but queen takes is probably better. So takes, maybe we step back, protecting, and just continuing to attack. And that would be an immediate attack on it. So queen here, knight in, here. there are 3 attackers on this and only 2 defenders. So let's go ahead and take. So I don't think they should have traded. Yeah, the knight comes in. It looks nice. But let's just slide back 1 square, maintaining the pin, and attack. And how do you save the piece? That's why you got to be very careful with these pins, especially when you've played g6, because g6 drastically weakens the dark squares, which your piece is on, and pins like this become much more venomous. And we should already be winning a piece. Okay, my opponent goes for a sacrifice. They realize that, you know, they're going to lose this anyways, but the problem with this move is I can actually just take back with the knight, protecting the queen. There's no need to take. That would be bad, so let's just capture with the knight. Now there's still an attack, but now we're just simply up a piece. And there's no moves like this because we can just take the queen. The queen is under attack. And notice the square is also very, very vulnerable. My opponent just resigns. We played with a 93, my opponent played with a 71. This was just an opening mistake. So as you can tell, bishop c4 is inaccurate. It's because there's a few reasons why this is bad. For one, it allows a sacrifice. And if knight takes, there's a fork. Now, I believe the best way to go about this is to drop back, takes, and we get the pawn back. Then they probably take here. And the reason why I like to play it is because sometimes, you know, this knight gets removed. And let me see if I can figure out a situation. So, like, let's just say that I take. And pawn takes, and then castle, bishop comes out, and then let's say that for some reason they move the knight here. The tactic that we are always looking out for whenever there's a pin here and a bishop staring here is bishop takes, luring the king forward. And when we have the king here, we're able to give a check, adding another attacker to the bishop. So that's kind of what I'm always on the lookout for. Is it the best way to play? No, but it's just how I like to play. But rather, they didn't go into anything like that. And yeah, now we take and just solidify the center. The bishop comes in. We could have kicked it away right away, but we didn't. And then taking is definitely a mistake because we just are winning a piece. They need to apparently give a check first. What happens if I go back? Then they just move the queen back. We can go rook f2. We still have a threat on this. So they got to move this now. Knight h5. And yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's one way to get out of it. But instead they went for the natural looking move, knight d4. But when you play knight d4, you got to ask yourself, okay, what is my opponent going to do? And if they saw a queen here, they'd realize, uh-oh, there's still 3 attackers on this knight, and it looks like I'm going to lose it. So they decided to sacrifice. Now, if I did not have a knight to capture back, and we had to take like this, that would actually be a move. But it's pretty key that we can take back with the knight here, defending the bishop. And then my opponent did not want to continue to play on. They should play on. If you guys are in a position like this, down a piece, just play on. You'll build up resilience and you'll learn how to fight and create chances. And especially at this level, there are always chances to come back and win. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments how far you want to see Blunderpecks actually go. We're at 1,500. On my main account, I'm 1,900 with a peak of 2050. So we're kind of getting to that spot where it's like, you know, we're just playing chess.